What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. Over the past 2 weeks, I have gotten a load of emails asking me for advice on food storage. People see the need to prep, however, they don't know where to start. And the first place you should start actually is in your own kitchen. You want to take a detailed inventory of every food item that you have. Look in your kitchen cabinets, look in your pantry, look in your refrigerator, look in your freezer. Anywhere you have food, take a detailed inventory of that food and make a list. And then you want to also, on that list, have how much you have, and also note the best use by date that's listed on the product. Then you want to make another list of the items that are on that list that you couldn't live without. The items that you would miss the most. Say if you couldn't go to the grocery store for, say, 3 weeks. What items would you miss the most? What items on that list do you use the most? And that should be where you start your food storage at. When first starting your food storage, concentrate on the foods that you normally eat and stockpile those. Now the next question is, how much food should we store? Shoot for at least 3 months. You know, we all talk about in the prepper community having at least a year's supply of food storage or even more. However, when you're just starting out, if you're looking at a year's supply, it gets very discouraging knowing that how far you are from that point. So concentrate on 3 months to start out with. Get that 3 months squared away, and then, if you can, expand on that 3 months. And then you might want to go 6 months, 9 months to a year, or even more, if you have the space and the resources to do that. However, you know, food right now is getting more expensive. You go to the store and you buy a certain food item today, and you go back 2 weeks from this date to buy that same food item, and most likely it has risen in price. And I don't see that changing in the near future. It's also getting more difficult to find certain food items. So it's best to stock up now while you can, because it's not going to get any easier and it's not going to get any cheaper. Now when it comes to actually storing those foods, you want to take a permanent marker and mark each one with the date which you purchased that food. And you want to get on a rotation, set up a rotation basis where the first food you buy is the first food that you use. For example, you know, if you buy a case of pinto beans, say today, and you buy another case next week, you want to pull out of the first case that you bought until you use all those, and then move this case down in the rotation, and keep doing that. That way you keep having a fresh supply. And what you use, you want to also keep a detailed list of the things that you use and go purchase more as soon as you can. That way you keep that 3 month supply on hand. If you rotate correctly, using on a first in, first out basis, and you keep everything dated, that way you know when you bought everything, and you replace as needed, you always have that 3 month supply, and it will always be a fresh supply, so you won't be throwing anything out. And you know, by buying what you normally use, what you normally eat, you're not going to waste any food. If you take and buy some exotic foods that you are not used to eating, that you don't know how to prepare, then that can go to waste, and you don't want that. You want to have foods that you normally eat, foods that you're used to preparing, and foods that are easily to purchase at your local grocery store. Now, when you go to expand this out, it can get expensive, especially if you're buying those foods from the grocery store. So you can look into things like wheat, for example. In fact, I have a list on my website, a PDF list. I have the article, and then the list is in the article with a link to download this PDF printable file you can see here. And this is a 3 month food storage checklist for one adult, and it has the basic foods that you can look at. Now, everyone's food storage isn't going to be the same. Everyone is going to be different because you have different needs, you have different appetites, and you will consume more or less of certain foods. So it's difficult to make a definitive list that will apply to everyone. You need this amount exactly. It simply doesn't work that way. You need to look at what you eat, what your family consume, and make your own personal list based on that knowledge. For example, this 3 month supply is a basic 3 months food supply for one person. 75 pounds of wheat. And the best wheat is hard red winter wheat because that's the best storage life. 25 pounds combination of rice, oats, and other grains. 5 pounds of canned meat, 2 pounds canned margarine, powdered eggs, etc., 6 pounds dried beans, peas, lentils, 6 pounds dried fruit juice and concentrates, 25 pounds dried or canned fruits, 3 pounds of comfort food such as hard candies and things like that, 25 pounds non-fat dried milk, 3 pounds of peanut butter substitute protein, 12 pounds dried potatoes, 2 pounds of salt, 3 quarts of shortening oils, 12 pounds of sugar or honey, and 9 pounds of dried or canned vegetables. So that's a basic list, and it's available on my website, Creekmore.com. I'll put a link in the description box below and check that out. This link is also embedded in an article that covers food storage in great detail. So maybe that will help you all to figure out what you need to store and how much you need to store. There's also food storage calculators. For example, you can type in a Google search food storage calculator and then type in your family. If you have a family of 4, 5, 6, whatever, and then it will bring you up a list for that many people. And like I said, these lists are great to give you ideas. However, they should not be seen as a definitive list. Your list, your food storage list, and thus your food storage, should be based on you and your family, your personal taste, your personal needs, and your personal consumption. But anyways, guys, I will put the link to the article in the description box below. You can check that out. Also, if you think it would be beneficial, then go check out my book, The Prepper's Guide to Surviving the End of the World as We Know It, Gear, Skills, and Related Know-How, on Amazon.com or at Barnes & Noble. Check that book out, read the reviews. If you think it would help, then feel free to purchase that book. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm the Creekmore out of here, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.